Hi guys, what you join me on here is planting up the straw bale with some leeks. So the leeks are grown now. Some of them are really good size, almost the thickness of a pencil, so they're ready for planting out. Right, so I've got myself a leek plant. Obviously the bit we all like is the bit at the bottom. If I just planted this in the ground now, I'm just going to have a tiny bit there and this is all just going to go to leafy growth. But what a fantastic organic gardener taught me, one of my first professional gardeners who shared with me their knowledge, was Roger from Centre of Alternate Technology. And he taught me to make a hole in the ground that's a good 4 to 6 inches deep, and then plant the leek inside there, in that hole, and then water it and fill back that hole. Now we're going to do this in straw bale. Bear in mind when that leek is formed, it might form something of that size, so we need to make sure that whatever we're doing around it, we've got enough space for that leek to swell and grow, so not too close together. So I'm going to start here. Just going to stick the stick in, prise the layer of the straw bale apart, keeping that mud on. Just going to make it a bit bigger again because there's a lot of soil on these roots. Prise it open, I can always push it back together afterwards. And I'm going to sink this leek in as deep as I can. Bear in mind on a straw bale I'm not worried about the mud getting inside the leek because there is no mud. And I'm just going to squeeze that straw bale back. I'm going to give myself maybe a thumb's distance, just under, and I'm going to then open up the straw bale again. Can use my fingers, I was just demonstrating with a stick. If I was doing it in the soil, I'd use a dibber and I'd make a hole about that far down, about that wide, make the hole, put the leek in, water around it. So here, let's get another leek in. Open up that straw bale, push the leek in. Nice, not damaging any of those roots. I'm just going to move one more next to the cucumber. There we go. So now I'm coming forwards. I'm going to go for the gap in between the other two plants. Got myself a nice leek. Just going to open up that gap so I don't catch the straw on the roots. Just get the straw out the way of the top. Get the roots in. Gently going to tuck them down. Don't want to damage them. And I'm just going to push that back together. Open up again. The gap in between the plants. Get a leek in. And then I'm just going to push those back together. So that's 5 leeks growing in that space. Next I'm going to come over here and lay them out here. So I'm going to do 2 lines because I particularly want to see leeks growing in here. This one's got a big clump of soil. I'm not worried about taking that off. I might as well just leave that on. It will help encourage those roots to reform and not damage any of them. There's a beetroot in there, but I'm still going to continue. That cabbage continues to grow, it's going to swell. We shall see if that affects the leeks. Just going to plant them in, roots in, push them together. So here. It's actually really quite easy in the straw bale. The way it just parts for you, how they've made the straw bale, it's really making planting these leeks a lot easier than they are in the soil. The only difficulty I have is a few bits of straw stopping the plant as it goes down. Wow, I can see roots of other plants in this. This straw bale is really starting to decompose, it's great. So again. Beetroots are there, going to give them a bit of space and work around it. I'll bring the leeks forwards instead. The only issue I need to remember about this is obviously where I've planted the leeks and not think they're grass, because at the moment they look a bit more grass-like. I don't want to be pulling them up. I'll show you what it looks like. So as I'm opening up these layers, let's show you inside. There's moisture, and you can see there's a good amount of moisture in there. It just pulls it apart. It's really easy to plant these leeks. We'll leave a little bit of space on the front in case I wish to plant something else. But already, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 leeks planted in the straw bale. Be really interesting to see how these do. So just to demonstrate how I do it in the ground, I've decided where the courgette is, that's not going to be there the entire season. The leeks are going to be there afterwards. So I'm just going to put some on the edge of that area, so that they can start their basic growth now, and as they start to get bigger and the courgettes are finished, they'll be able to finish off growing in that space. So I'd laid down some of the courgette leaves just to open up the light in for the basil, but I'm just going to move away those leaves. I'm going to move away some of the mulch that I've got down as well. So here we can see there's this one of the square foot edges. Now because of leeks, you could probably get up to 16 of these in a square. I'm going to plant 2 rows here and here. Now I've got chives coming over anyway, so I'm going to put some there, and I'm going to go 6, and that would be 8. So go at the back, going to go there. So to make the holes, I talked about having a dibber, which was just an old handle that snapped. I'm going to poke it in about 10-12 centimeters, make my 8 holes. I might do a little bit of damage to the runner bean, so I might make the hole at the back out of something slightly smaller. I'll prise away with my hands just to work around those runner bean roots. Get my hand in. Okay, so I've got 8 holes, so that means I can fit 8 leeks in. So here's some of the leeks with their little root structures there. I'm just going to prise them apart. I'm going to leave those bits of soil on there because in there are going to be some small root hairs. I don't really want to particularly damage them any further. So I'm just going to get them to the hole, let them slide their way in with the weight of that little bit of mud on it. Let it go all the way down. I need to make sure I've got a good size hole there. So get the roots in, let them go down, let them sink in, all the way down. This saves also putting collars on them to increase the white area of the leek, which is the bit we particularly like the flavour of. Now because these leeks are surrounded by dirt or compost, what I don't want to do is push all that dirt and compost into the growing space, because I don't particularly want loads of soil in between the growing layers, because obviously when you chop them up and eat them, you don't really want that gritty effect. So what I will do now is I will just water the areas, so fill the hole with water and allow the soil to gently fill up into that water and cover those roots. And it won't fill the entire hole with soil. What it will do is it'll give space for that leek to expand out in it, but the roots will be covered with compost in the hole. And then as they grow up, we shall see them expand out and take up that space. So I'll just go and get the watering can and I'll give them a quick water. I'm just going to take the rows off. I'm going to get the nozzle right down and just filling up those holes. As simple as that. I'll just leave them now to grow and come back and check on them. I've still got lots of leeks left, so what I'll do with these is just keep looking after them, and as some of those early potatoes are lifted, I might be planting in some brassicas, and I might put some of the leeks in those spaces just to give me another crop from the same space.